Hello and welcome to the final video of this module in which we have learned clarity, engagements, and how to bring different approach all together, and also how to create the natural automated thinking in your brain to be a good communicator. Now in this video, I want to tell you a story about myself. Like when I was growing up, I used to watch this TED Talk on YouTube. If you don't know what TED Talks are, you should go and search on YouTube. So what I really believe is जब मैं मतलब I used to have this imagination to be a good communicator और वो मेरी manifestation थी I believe. So I used to watch a lot of TED Talk videos on YouTube. And I still have a wish to be a TED Talk speaker someday. And I really like how they really put forward their story along with facts, and they come with a purpose. So in this video, I'm going to show you some of the best TED Talks, and we will going to learn from those speakers what are they doing to make it more impactful. This all TED Talks have millions and millions views, and there is something that you will be impressed by. Trust me. Now, when we discuss 4 P's of framework, it is number 1, what is your purpose? Number 2, what are the characters and peoples involved in your story? Number 3 is the problem that you're solving, and number 4 is the progress that you will get onto. So purpose, people, problem, and progress. These are the 4 P's framework of better speaking. Now let's relate one of it with the TED Talk that we have seen. So this is one of my favorite TED Talks, and this is the number 1.
I used to think the whole purpose of life was pursuing happiness. Everyone said the path to happiness was success, so I searched for that ideal job, that perfect boyfriend, that beautiful apartment. But instead of ever feeling fulfilled, I felt anxious and adrift. And I wasn't alone. My friends, they struggled with this too. Eventually, I decided to go to graduate school for positive psychology to learn what truly makes people happy. But what I discovered there changed my life. The data showed that chasing happiness can make people unhappy. And what really struck me was this. The suicide rate has been rising around.
This is incredible, isn't it? I really like the way she's telling her story. So in this TED Talk, we have seen how well she was putting out her purpose. She started with her story on what she is doing and from where she is, and then to really taking her story back and center of the purpose, because her aim was to really define what is the purpose of that entire talk. So it is like a movie जहाँ पे आपको opening जो मिलती है movie की, कभी कभी it's suspenseful, but it sometimes starts with a story from beginning, sometimes वो बीच में से शुरू होती है. So it depends upon you how well you want to tell your story. So when you prepare to give presentations or speech, or maybe you're talking to someone, or maybe you're giving interview, you have to make sure and understand what is the purpose of you being there, what you want to communicate, and how you want to communicate. The ultimate purpose comes with the clarity, as I mentioned, what you want to communicate. Now let's look at the second TED Talk and understand the next P of this entire framework.
How many people look at my business card and say, "Oh, a psychologist, so not a real doctor." As if it should say that on my card. This favoritism, we show the body over the mind. I see it everywhere. I recently was at a friend's house and their 5-year-old was getting ready for bed. He was standing on a stool by the sink brushing his teeth when he slipped and scratched his leg on the stool when he fell. He cried for a minute, but then he got back up, got back on the stool, and reached out for a box of Band-Aids to put one on his cut. Now, this kid could barely tie his shoelaces, but he knew you have to cover a cut.
Now come the people part. So whenever you are telling stories, if especially this will be applicable if you are telling a speech or a presentations. For example, if I'm giving you the presentation on SharePoint, let's say it's one of the technologies, I would say that SharePoint has changed millions of people's life of how do we really share information. Now I am bringing more people to this story because I'm connecting the technology with the people that are using currently SharePoint. Another example would be simple as internet. Now internet has changed the world and the way we communicate and the way we really search information. In this entire story, what you have observed that I'm connecting my purpose or maybe the center of the topic to certain people to build more connectivity, which really means that I am bringing this factor of connection that connects people with the purpose I have. Now, when you bring people in the stories, it is more relatable for other people to connect. Now, the second on this entire framework is problem. Now, see this clip.
What your brain is. So why can't you learn anything you choose to with ease? Why do our kids sometimes fail in school? Why, as we age, do we tend to forget things? And why don't people fully recover from brain damage? That is, what is it that limits and facilitates neuroplasticity? And so this is what I study. I study it specifically how it relates to recovery from stroke. So recently, stroke dropped from being the third leading cause of death in the United States to be the fourth leading cause of death.
In this clip, what we have observed is the problem. So when you are clear with your purpose of what is your purpose of talking or speaking or giving a presentation, you come on to the people, you bring people along with entire presentation or speech. Your third important factor is to really define the problem and how this entire problem is connected with your purpose and the people that you have interacted. This brings a triangle connectivity onto people, purpose, and the problem. And where do you stand as a person to offer solution to this entire situation? Another most important factor when it comes to problem that everybody needs a problem in the story. Otherwise, if you do not have challenges, problems, and hardships and conflicts, your story will not be interesting. And the last one in this entire lecture is the progress. When we have progress, that really means the problem is resolved. We now have a resolution of the problem. So that serves as the basic, story outline, because we started with the purpose, we involved the people into the stories, we have defined the problem. Now the ultimate thing is progress, because we got the solutions and now we are progressing towards the entire story. You do not have a progress in your story, which really means that there is no lesson, there is no takeaways, कोई आपसे कुछ सीख नहीं सकता, because you haven't included the progress. So always make sure, this is the best example, when you are defining anything in your interviews, when you are answering, you will get this common questions. How did you deal with that situation? If you had a problem in your last project, how did you manage it? In this, you have to bring all of these things, like what was your purpose of solving problem, what was the entire problem, who are the people involved, and how did you get on to the progress. The progress defined your ability and your power of solving stories or your power of solving conflicts, and that really put forward your personality as a problem solver. What you are doing to really resolve that problem, this can be defined in this final P of this framework, that is progress. So here is the final thought. If you are preparing for a presentation or a speech, or in general, if you're going for an interview, you have to remember at least you can define your purpose, the problem, and the progress. And if you want to involve people, that's completely fine if you are giving a long speech or a presentation. But in most of the answers, you will identify that purpose, progress, and even the problem is the common elements for telling a good story. And that can make you a good communicator in the all sense.